La, la. Welcome everybody to a Friday night edition of the Triple B Express. That's right, the Express, because I have a lot to talk about. It's actually the Triple B Experience, but the Express is coming on tonight because I have a lot of stuff to get on, a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm doing a million things as always, and I appreciate you guys tuning in on a Friday night. I'm probably sure you guys are doing something way better than actually wanting to listen to me chime about a whole bunch of other stuff. But we have a lot of stuff to get to, and just sit back, relax, and we will get it on. So everybody, stay tuned for another exciting edition of the Triple B Experience with your host, me, Bad Bubba Brewer. Geared down. Here we go. Welcome everybody to another exciting Friday edition of the Triple B Experience. Probably, and this is episode 50. 50 by myself. I mean, I have a lot of other guests come on. I have the Mania Mega panel come on sometimes when we pick wrestling shows and to come on periodically. I think I'm going to send something out to special field correspondent Shane Stodmiller. I know he's in the house. Hey Shane, thanks for tuning in. Larry Stryker. Let's slowly take it down a little bit. I had an energy drink so I could get some workout done today because I have to work for a living. But everybody that's listening to my podcast, hey guys, go and subscribe to Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk. If you like wrestling, if you want to be entertained by the king himself, Larry Stryker, the main event, and JJ, and the freak from Q Crick, Reese. They do like top tens. They were talking lately about shows at the War Memorial because they are from the Johnstown area, and they love wrestling. They're funny guys, and I try to put them out there as much as I can and to help them out because it's a hey, no problem, Lair. It's a team thing, and this podcast that I've been doing this podcast off and on in different formats since 2018. Um, I appreciate all the support that I get, and I appreciate Larry and the guys from Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk, and I appreciate Shane with his show right here in the Big 12 and West Virginia stuff. And Shane, if you're not doing that, I'm going to send you a little invite here real quick if you want to jump on and talk about a little bit of pulp culture because I know you probably got a lot of pulp culture. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got your Mount Rushmore, if you're into pulp culture like I am and you're into comic books, look, hey, anti-heroes. Your Mount Rushmore of anti-heroes. I want to hear them throughout the show, people. I'm going to give mine at the end of the show, okay? Or in between. It's going to be something. I'm sending out a thing to Shane right now. So, hey, I got a lot of stuff. William Boyan, thanks for tuning in, brother. Hope everything's good on the other side of the state. So, hey, like I said, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. I know on my social media, I have a lot of, I also do a Steeler podcast. Look, guys, I'm a diehard Steeler. I've been a Steeler fan all my life. My family's been a season ticket holder since 1971 until 2010. And I changed the format to a different couple names, but every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock, you can get your Steeler fix when you tune in to the Triple B. Oh God, I don't have the marquee. It is the Black and Gold Dynasty show. So yeah, I got it. I got the marquee on the on my other site. I have so many things to advertise. It's unreal. My whole StreamYard has got 50 items. Richie Allen, thanks for tuning in. Hey, like I said, though, please hit like and subscribe. If you have any questions and comments and you're on social media, I will be happy to answer them the best of my ability. This is raw, uncut, uncensored. I tell it the way it is. This show's about stuff that I love and stuff that I can get behind. And if I can promote some people, I can. There he is. Shane, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm a little jet lagged. I just got back last night from being on
Where'd you
the
go?
West Coast. I went to
Oh,
Albany,
shit.
Oregon. So I
Oh, nice.
flew out there for a few days for work, and I'll tell you what, 3 hours difference whoops your ass. But
Does it really?
so I did my due diligence because I figured we'd be talking about stuff. So as soon as I got off the plane, I drove back up to
Okay.
home.
Okay.
I I subscribed to AMC and I watched the first episode of guess what I watched.
Hopefully you watched the new Walking Dead. That's why
I did.
I wanted to bring
I
you on
did.
because I wanted to
I
hear
did.
your. Okay, so what did you think? Hold on, everybody, because we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So we're gonna do some pulp culture first, but stick around for all this wrestling talk. It's coming, believe me. You like that
Okay,
graphic?
you want to jump right into it. We'll jump right into it. I'll tell you.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Bubba, I've been shitting on Walking Dead the past couple seasons
But
have just been
but
horrible.
but you're allowed to because of the writing has been shitty.
Oh
And
yeah.
it wasn't like it used to be when they were getting like 17 million people tuning in.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I totally stopped watching it for probably 3 years. And then I
okay.
kind of went back and watched a few, and I think I'm caught up. I watched it last night, and the first 5 or so minutes, I'm like, I wasn't buying it, Bubba.
Okay, okay, and you're allowed to. It wasn't
However,
okay because it wasn't flowing for me either at first.
yeah, the first half was very flat.
Okay.
And the typical, I'm like, does everybody have to have one arm,
Well,
in The
well,
Walking Dead?
well. The thing is, though, Shane, in the comic book, actually, Rick had his hand cut off way earlier in the prison in the comic book.
Right.
So yeah, so they switched that up, but now they actually got comic book accuracy with Rick Grimes taking his fucking arm off in a
That
crazy
that
kind of way.
so you know what, with The Walking Dead, Bubba, and people either think it jumped the shark when they smashed Glenn's head in,
Yes.
or they thought that was the best, and then it kind of just went downhill from there.
Let me ask you, Shane, and you watch a lot of pulp culture and TV stuff. We've been doing it all our lives. Wasn't that the most traumatic thing you ever saw on like TV? I still think to this day, I think that was the most traumatic thing that I've ever seen, and I
Yeah,
think
it bothered me.
it actually ruined, I think, the show after that. I think.
Yeah, people have either hot or cold take on it, and
Mhm.
I have seen, like, after an explosion, I went up and I saw parts of people, and I saw a guy's mustache and part of his face, and you could tell it was his mustache on the ground. I've seen that in person.
Oh fuck.
That didn't bother me. That didn't bother me as much as Glenn. Like,
Uh-huh.
Glenn would have been a 5 and the mustache would have been a 2,
Mhm.
So that's how impactful that was.
Oh, I think
But that
I think that's the most horrific scene probably in TV history, I would believe.
when his
I
eye
can't
popped out, it was
Yeah.
horrible. Like,
Well,
what were they thinking?
that was in the comic book. That's what happened in the comic book. In the comic book, Glenn was the only one to get killed. It's because realistically, Abraham took the crossbow through the eye in the comic book, and then on the railroad tracks, the doctor got Abraham's death because they try to switch it all up in the comic book
Yeah,
and then they do in the TV show because
change it up.
they want to keep you guessing because they don't want to be like us, like guessing it, all at the same time. Dana, Jessica, thanks for tuning in to the Experience Show on a Friday night, man. We truly appreciate it. And special field correspondent Shane's in. We're talking the Walking Dead right now because Shane actually seen the new show. What is it? Who Lives, We Live, or whatever. It's so. Let me ask you a question. Did you like the jumps though or not? Because I didn't like the jumps, like years and
No,
jumps
I
stuff.
mean, the pacing was just, wasn't jumps, it was jarring. It was just like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I because here's the thing, Bubba.
Okay.
What they'll do is they'll take a series
Mm-hmm.
like what last year or what they did with Negan,
Right.
and they'll just have some bull crap episodes that just have no meaning to and don't move the story.
Yep.
And then they'll have a great episode, and then they could have gotten maybe 3 good episodes out of that one episode.
Yes, I think they
What are
rushed
you
everything in the
thinking?
first. I think they rushed everything in the first episode because, spoiler alert for people that didn't see it. I'm so sorry, but hey, look, when you're doing podcasts, you got to keep it current because you can't wait around, and you got to give it to them. Like they brought them both in at the end of the show, at the end of that episode, which I thought it would be a little longer. Wait,
Yeah, build it up. It's like, oh wow,
yeah,
that's like one of those like 90s, 80s kid has to lose their virginity movies, where in 5 minutes he gets banged. Like first 5 minutes, you haven't even like put your hand in the popcorn.
You didn't even kiss, and all of a sudden you're done.
He's balls deep.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah. So I mean, for actually the spinoffs, because see, they were supposed to make out a movie. See, that was this Rick Grimes thing was
I thought it
supposed
was
to be
going
a
to be a
movie,
movie.
but I think due to COVID, due to whatever, I think the Negan and Maggie situation show. And who doesn't like Jeffrey Dean Morgan? I mean, I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan and everything he's in, and now he has turned into on that series. He has turned into the anti-hero. Like if you're gonna stick around and give your Mount Rushmore, if you're not doing that tonight, we can chit chat for a little bit.
Yep.
The Mount Rushmore of anti-heroes. I'd like to hear your situations of comic book anti-heroes that you would put on your Mount Rushmore. But right now, he was like the anti-hero, and there's been speculation and talk that them two, Grimes and Negan, eventually tag up because this 6 episodes, I don't think they're going to get everything accomplished in 6 episodes. There's no goddamn way.
They rush it. It's like, I don't know if you've watched The Bad Batch. Do you watch The Bad Batch?
I have. I got season 2 done. I'm okay with that because the last 4 episodes, that is the big climactic part of every season of the Bad Batch 1 and 2. The last 4 or 5 episodes have to be is standalone. You can watch other episodes, but they're standalone, and then the last 4 or 5 are telling the end of the story to end the series. Now, I haven't watched the season 3 because they have 3 episodes, so they probably do the same thing. I'm guessing. Is that what you were coming to saying?
Yeah, well, the pacing's better this year. I think it's just better. The stories have been consistent.
Okay.
But I like those characters better.
Well, you feel invested. I feel invested, and it's sad that you feel invested in animated clone troopers, but also too in The Walking Dead. I was more invested in the Daryl series, which the Daryl series was way good.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong.
Daryl's likable.
Yes. Well, don't get me wrong. I mean, this show that the Rick Grimes and Michonne, it's not going to be done in 6. There is no way they could tell this story in 6. I don't know if he's going to go back to New Alexandria and go back, because there is no way in hell that Rick Grimes and Michonne can beat the Commonwealth. There is no way with the manpower. And being in the military, there is no way that they could beat the military, even though it's fictional. There's no way that they could beat them, just the 2 of them. They would have to start.
Yeah, you always want to have numbers, even if it's an ambush or whatever, you want to have numbers. But listen, I'm going to ask you a question, Bubba, and you're going to have to put your thinking cap on.
Okay, I'll try.
I don't even think I can answer this question.
Well, I'll probably not either, but I'll try.
What season did The Walking Dead, in your opinion, peak?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. The governor
storyline, they blend together for me.
Yeah, well, the governor storyline when they were at the prison was good. But also too in the comic book, Lori actually killed the baby. Like Judas died in the comic book, so they switched that up. So I believe the traumatic the governor, the episode when the governor was was by himself and actually got Tasha and her sister, and then finally got a little bit of his people to make the attack on the prison to go against. And then when he fucking beheaded fucking Herschel, I think that was season 2 and 3 was probably the highlights to me. And
Yeah.
then it was like that. And then because the Whisperer storyline, I know we're beat bopping around about The Walking Dead, but the Whisperer storyline in the comic book was actually very, very good, but also too, Grimes was part of that story, and they took him out and they put Daryl, I believe, in the Rick Grimes role.
Yeah.
And Beta, I mean, that dude that played Beta from Opie from Sons of Anarchy was just phenomenal. And Alpha, she was just you wanted
I
to see
like
her
that.
die. You wanted to see
Yeah,
her
but
die.
I thought that was more like the downswing. I think the prison. I think what makes Walking Dead good is it's post-apocalyptic.
Mm-hmm.
They're like Moses,
Moses
running through the desert, like
taking the people
and
to the promised
trying to
land.
stay away from trying to stay away from the Egyptians. But it's the chase. It's the
Yeah.
are we safe? It's that anxiety. It's the
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen next
Well,
once they get to Alexander.
Larry said season 2 and 3 also.
Yeah. So once they kind of like let's rebuild,
Mm-hmm.
I could give a shit, like personally.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question, and hopefully the audience that's listening can actually chime in because that's what I'm all about here. Please, give your opinion on the show and do whatever. Do you think the show is more about the human concept of survival and how people turn it? To me, it's always been that. I don't care about the zombies. To me, it's not the story of the zombies. It's a story about how mankind can turn on itself and be that ruthless at a time where it's the candle is burning at the wick and it's almost done and you got to do what you got to do. Do you kill this person to
You, you
live,
know,
or do you have
yeah,
empathy for those people?
I think it's more of a caricature of humanity as everyone. It's the hero and villain
Mm-hmm.
is both. There's two sides of a coin, and it's all perspective.
Uh-huh.
Negan is the hero for his folks. Okay,
Right. Yes.
He has done nothing more or less heinous than
Well,
Rick
well, well.
Grimes.
He did rape a whole bunch of people. He did rape and he took Dwight and he took that iron to him.
Yeah, but
So
he
he
had
did it.
consent. And here's the thing: he had,
He had consent.
but Rick Grimes, he's just as bad. It's just, an A for being a douchebag or a B minus for being a douchebag. Rick Grimes. So there's just it's all in like
where well, it's all in where you're at. If you're at the
and what about
sanctuary,
Shane?
well, Shane was an asshole.
Yeah, but he was like
Well, he was helping him out, and then he
better
just
than Negan.
well, I
He
think
was a good character.
he was. I mean, but anything John
You're pulling
Berthenol
for
in.
him.
Well, John Berthenol, and then he turned. John Berthenol turned because Rick Grimes showed
Right.
up, and then Grimes was taking all that power and authority because he was in the top in in the first season, and then he didn't last. Well, in the comic book, Shane only lasted, I think, the first issue. That was it.
Yeah.
He got killed the first issue. Steve Schatz is in the house, and I know Steve knows a lot about pulp culture. But like I said, hey guys, we're just talking a little bit about the new Walking Dead series to get a little bit of pulp culture in because I actually seen the show, and that's why I wanted to bring Shane on and go off his off his cranium and see here. But I want to see where the show goes. This Rick Grimes and Michonne Only They Live or whatever the hell they live or whatever. Look, I just know I like to see stuff when I start shows. I have to see it, even if it's shitty or whatever. I still have to see it at the end.
What was the like? They lost me. I don't know if it's because I was just so goddamn tired, but when he's sitting on the park bench asking for directions with Michonne,
no, he was dreaming, brother. He was.
I figured he was dreaming, but it had no correlation to the story, in my opinion.
Well, he's dreaming because he's in love with Michonne, and he doesn't even know that he had a son to her because it's been so long. So he was in love with her, and blah 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 blah. And I mean, she is a big actress now. I mean, she's in Marvel, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, and oh, hey, Steve, what's going on? So, I mean, it's 5 episodes. It's probably going to be a season 2. they're probably going to do this trifecta because actually season 2 of the Daryl Dixon, Carol is now involved. I don't know if you've seen that. The trailer for that. Now it's Carol.
She went looking for him.
She's going to go look for him. Yeah, because she didn't.
I like that. I think that's good.
Well, McBride didn't want to be in the TV show, so she fucking bowed out. She was going to be in it. It was them two in the show, and then she bowed out, and she's like, you know what? I got to make some money because realistically, if you're not in something, how do you got to keep viable and keep making money. If you're not doing shows,
do you think that happened with Rick? Rick finally realized that he's not getting the.
Oh, I think Andrew Lee can. I think Andrew Lee can realize he fucked up. You know what I mean? He fucked up because what did he do after? He didn't do fucking anything. He wasn't in any movie or anything. He wasn't nothing. I mean, I hate to say it, but when you got to be okay, I'm going to be a character actor, or my role in my lifetime is going to be, Rick Grimes. Who cares? I understand it might be whatever, and you're tired of it, and you go to conventions later on and you sign autographs. But when you're making all that big money, like, then all of a sudden no one's knocking on your fucking door. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my opinion.
So right.
I mean, thank God Robert Downey did that Oppenheimer movie, okay, and got a nomination because he wasn't doing shit.
On the flight. I watched that on the flight out.
It put you to sleep,
on Monday morning.
Put you to sleep.
It was, I work for the Department of Energy, and I thought, wow, this is interesting. This will be kind of like, what we do. It was. The guy was dull. He was an adulterer and a creeper.
I have not seen it, and I don't think I probably will.
You didn't miss anything. It was.
Yeah, and Steve Stott said he's not a Walking Dead aficionado, but he does know a lot about. Hey, Steve, while you're on, I want to get your Mount Rushmore of anti-heroes, because I know you're a big comic book. I got to get Steve on here eventually. Have him come on and shoot the shit. Kevin Shields is in the house. Holy shit! Hey, Shieldsy, what's up? So yeah, I mean, I'm going to give it 5 more episodes, see where it goes.
Oh yeah, I mean it's worth watching.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Rick, I mean, he fucking took a hatchet to his hand, and then he fucking took his stub and took it into the ashes of the burning zombie to, colorize it. Are we talking about Dick Smoke? You said doll. Oh, well, no, Rich. Well, Rich Smoke is the smartest man in Philadelphia, and he has his show. Let me give a plug out here. NFL Elite Banner with Freight Train.
I watched it last night. I was able to watch it.
Yeah, 4 anti-heroes, Steve. And then you can give them to me if you got to roll out. I like to hear your 4 anti-heroes. Me and Shane are going to give it probably towards the end of the show or in the middle or something, because I have a couple other topics. And your sister's in the house. Jessica, thanks for tuning in. We got to get your sister on, man.
Because anytime she has a lot of good stories.
Well, anytime you get, like, because you're the celebrity, you're going out trying to get people, and anybody that you get, I want you to come on and we can chat with them, because you said you were on a plane with somebody this.
Yeah,
this
I was going to tell the story. Yeah, sure. So I'm in. So Corvallis is where Oregon State is, and my hotel, I literally could look across the parking lot, and there was the stadium. Okay, and it's like about half, a little smaller than Penn State, about the same size as West Virginia. Really nice campus. It's right on the edge of the Cascade Mountains. There's a valley. And then south, the same distance from Pitt and Penn State, which is 60 miles, is about the same distance between Oregon, the Oregon Ducks, where Nike was invented, and Oregon State. So, long story short, catching a flight. I see this kid who's maybe 26, 28.
Okay.
Little too. I think he's older than a college player, but you can tell the gear that the athletes wear compared to the gear that Shane has on. You know what I mean? And he had an Oregon Ducks practice sweatshirt. It looked like it was worn a bit. And he's just sitting there. I hear bells,
you hear bells,
little teeny jingle bells. Yeah, and I'm looking around, and this is 4:30 in the morning. You
thought somebody was coming to get you.
I thought I was tripping, man. I thought I had ate a mushroom on a burger the day before, and it hit me.
Sometimes that's good.
So this kid looks up, and I look at him. He looks at me, and I'm like, what is that? And we see this kid walk, and someone put bells on their kid. People do weird shit. But so this kid walks past with bells, this little like 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh man, I said, I thought I was losing my mind. He said, me too. We start talking.
Okay.
So this guy, not only is he a $1 million looker, like he came from an Abercrombie and Fitch catalog with curly, like brown hair and piercing eyes.
Oh yeah.
He is former college safety at Oregon.
Okay.
Now he plays for, it's his 3rd year in the NFL. He plays for
Get the fuck out of here.
Texans.
Really?
His name's, yeah. And here, Bubba, this is the funniest thing. I told him.
That's why you're a special field correspondent, man.
He introduced himself.
Uh-huh.
And I asked him some questions about college realignment.
Sure.
And then I said, well, I don't know much about the NFL, but I have a friend that's a big NFL fan. And I said, well, what's he a fan of? He said to me, what's he a fan of? I said, well, he's a Yinzer. He's a big Steelers fan. He looked at me. He said, well, we beat the Steelers. And he lit up because he was like, that had to be. And that's what we have to ask him.
Okay.
That had to be a big pivot point for their trajectory of their year, was when they beat the Steelers. I could just tell from talking to him. But his name and his name, you couldn't pick a better name if you were Vince McMahon.
I know you told me. Well, I don't want to be Vince McMahon anymore, but
I know.
You told me his name, and what was his name?
Brady Breeze.
Brady Breeze.
Isn't that fantastic? That's like
double B. Like, he's a double B.
I said to him, man, is that really your name? He said, yeah. Well, he texted me his number, and it came up Brady Breeze. I said, man.
Oh, shit. That's awesome.
That's a Hollywood name. And he laughed. I said, man, if I had to change my name, it'd be something that's snappy.
What would it be? What would your name be? It'd be what would it be?
Well, I'll tell you what. This
Style
I'm just throwing it out there for the betterment of your show. Ready?
Okay.
When we were stationed out we would go out to Lake of the Ozarks, me and a couple guys in this officer basic course for being MPs.
Okay.
And we'd go to Lake of the Ozarks, and you know that Cena's movie, Stanicki?
Oh yeah. I want to see that so bad.
He stole our idea. We used to say we were with this guy Steve, and what we'd do is we get the girls to go back to where the docks, where the boats are, and we're like, where's Steve? And my buddy would be like, I haven't seen Steve. Have you seen Steve? And then my buddy would want to fight Steve because Steve took the boat. We didn't have a boat, but Steve took the boat, and we didn't have a friend named Steve. But we're blaming everything on Steve.
Nice setup.
We get real upset, and I'd try to calm him down. My other buddy tried to calm him down, and he'd be MF Steve, freaking Steve. Steve was always causing trouble. But the girls will always be like, no, it's cool. Come back to our place. We'll just drink there.
Oh,
fuck Steve.
See, I did something at when I used to go to St. Francis University up by Loretto. I would always go around campus because Jason Morgan and Nathan Morgan and Shane Brandenburg, they all went to college up there. So I'd go up on the weekends. I'd go with Matt Morgan. Okay, so we would be partying, and I'd walk around the fucking campus, and I'd be trying to hit on girls, and they're like, "Hey," I said, "Hey, how you doing? My name's Anthony Stark," and then they had no idea that it was fucking Iron Man. So
yeah. So you want to know what?
So I did it.
How long did it work? Did it work?
Well, no. Well, not really. But I went up the one week and I used the name again, and this girl slapped me in the fucking face, and she knew it was Iron Man. Boom! She fucking.
That's awesome.
It was the same girl I asked a week before. I'm like, hey. And I go, hey, blah, 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 blah. My name's Anthony. Oh, she's like, your name is not Anthony Stark. That's fucking smack. It's Iron Man across the face. And she walked away.
That's cool that she knew that, right?
Well, it kind of scared me. When girls know comic book characters, it ruined all my aliases to try to hook up back in the day. Because I would throw anything out. I would be like, I'm Michael Williamson. That was a made up name. It was always Anthony Stark. And then I was like, oh, fuck, I got caught. And then, you know what I mean? And people caught on, you know what I mean? So I really couldn't use that name. I remember one time I tried to be Merrill Hodge down at that diner down in Shalakta.
Yeah.
I tried to play Merrill Hodge, and the waitress kind of believed me, but there was no way I looked like Merrill Hodge at all. So.
No, I only used it that one time, and then I kind of joked about it later. But Trip Fontaine Trip Fontaine
Oh,
is
that's a
my
good name.
alias.
Well,
Trip Fontaine.
here's another story, and then we're gonna get back into some pop culture. We went down. Me and Mike Fabian went down to see Shane Brandenburg in Delaware. We went on vacation, and we went with Becky from Bob's. So it was me, Becky, and Fabe going down to visit
Becky from
Shane.
Bob's went
Becky
with you?
from
Wait
Bob's
a
Pizza.
second.
Yeah, oh
Wait a
yeah.
second.
Yeah, she was friends with Shane, so we all went down. So we were down in Delaware. You had to fucking party early because the bars close at 1:00.
Yeah.
So, well, the one time we went to a club, and I had like a Hawaiian fucking shirt on. Well, and there's two stories that I'm going to tell real quick. Well, this girl went up to Fabe and's like, "You know who that guy is? You know who that guy is?" And these girls were college girls, and they were smoking hot. I'm a married man now, but they were very attractive. I'm telling you. So the craziest thing is, though, she's like, "You know who that is? That's are you friends with Ron?" She thought I was fucking Ron Jeremy. Yeah. So I was like, "Holy shit, Fabe, this is awesome." So I'm like, "Ladies, let's do some shots, because if any girl that's smoking hot, knows who the hedgehog is, we got to do a shot." Yeah, I had a Hawaiian shirt. I had a black mustache. Yeah. I didn't. I must have curly hair, because Ron Jeremy is one ugly looking motherfucker. He is, man. He's terrible. And then the second story is we were at this bar. I'm probably gonna get Fabe in trouble, but who cares? He's already drinking it. If he pops on, he'll. It's a good story because he tells it at work. We were hockey players from Division II. We were called, get this, the Tonoma Wildcats. Alfie Sledzik and Camden LaFleur. I was the goalie because I couldn't move around, and Fabe was the forward. And
Yeah,
these girls,
that's what we did in Lake of the Ozarks. We were minor league baseball players because we had a Hispanic kid. We had a kid who was half Korean, half black, and like 3 white guys. And
well, the thing is, we had long. I mean, both of us still. I mean, I have long hair.
You
And
have
I had
the nice long hair. Yeah.
So did Fabe back then. So we were out of place,
you look like
man.
hockey players.
Yeah, we were out of place, man. I mean, I look like an oversized goalie, but I mean, Camden LaFleur and Alfie Sledzik. I'm telling you, it was. Yeah, I mean, I was so drunk. I was so drunk.
Thank God they couldn't look stuff up then. Like we wouldn't have been able to survive nowadays, right?
I'd have been screwed. I was so drunk karaokeing at this one bar where Shane worked at. I almost had a huge black lady about 6'6" that wanted to take me home to play board games. I had to had to get out of there. And Fabian and Shane saved me from that one. So okay. Larry said The Mighty Ducks. You know what? That's a good movie, The Mighty Ducks.
Hey, I took a picture of. I drove out to the coast, had a bowl suit, drove back Wednesday night, and I videotaped, but I didn't push the record. It was raining really hard. The record button didn't. It only recorded for like a second. Okay. I was talking about Goonies and Larry because the Goonies were just maybe not far up the road.
Yeah, he's never seen that movie.
And I said it to Larry, and I realized it was only a second. I was like, shit. That was the whole, like, the soup was good. It was worth the drive, but it was also to kind of like, give Larry a hard time because he's never watched the Goonies.
Yeah, well, Larry his movie selections are like, I mean, we do top 10 movies. He does stuff I never heard of before. So, I mean, it's crazy. But I did watch this. I finally got to watch the Spider-Verse. That's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So, well, I mean, I had it, and it took me a couple days. So let me get to the lovely, I know it's animated. The Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. It's Miles Morales, which I never got the comic book. It's very expensive because a 9.8 is like $1,000, $1,500. Like, it's very expensive. Larry says he has great taste in movies. Well, you movies? He has movies I never even fucking heard of before. But but I finished watching it, and if you had seizures, this animated Sony stuff's probably not good to see when the colors and shit, because I do have from concussions. It didn't it bothered Tammy, and she just rolled up. She's like, I can't take no more off the TV. Because my TV downstairs your
TV's so big too. I think if you watched it on like a 50-inch, you wouldn't be as jarring.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well, but I thought it was good, but it had too many there was like thousands and thousands. Did you see it?
I watched part of it, but I didn't watch all of it. No.
Okay, well,
My son said it's one of the best Spider-Man movies he's seen.
Oh yeah, well, the first one, I think the animated stuff is Sony's. That's the only thing Sony can get right, is that and the Tom Holland Spider-Man. Other than that, they can't get a goddamn thing right. So it just means they have a lot of thousands and thousands of Spider-Man in this Spider-Verse. It was very long. It was a very long story, and I thought it was all in one, and I didn't realize that it actually had Danny Glover in a real live action in the Spider-Verse. Like he's in a prism in a real live. So everything is connected in the MCU canon. Like everything is connected. So yeah. So I don't know if they're going to make. They brought in Spider-Man 2099, Ramirez, voiced by Moon Knight. Oscar. He was Poe in. Yeah.
He's
So
also in Dune.
yeah, so he's like everywhere. So I mean, he played a good role, and then Haley Seinfeld, who was Hawkeye in Hawkeye. So these guys are getting double roles. You know what I mean? So they cut it and it just cut it at a climactic thing. Like it was kind of like Return of the Jedi when Boba Fett was taking Solo out. You know what I mean? It was that.
Yeah.
To me, it was like that pretty good. So I got Steve. Oh, Steve is giving me a whole bunch of stuff here on the on his anti. I'm gonna wait till he gets all. He's got number 1 and he's got number 2, and he has a lot of. And I'm gonna read what he says here when he gets to number 5, and I'll start periodically. Steve, when you get to 5, when you get it's 4. Mount Rushmore's 4, not 5. Jesus Christ, am I retarded? Or dyslexic, or whatever. I shouldn't say the R word because people are like, "Oh, Baba, you said the R word." Yeah. So when he gets to 4, I'll go 4 and up, and then do that. But hey, let me get to now. This is a little bit of Steeler news because I wanted to get this due to the fact of what happened, and I don't know who they're going to put in, and maybe I'll get maybe you can guess because you do.
Yeah.
You know, like Bill Hillgrove retired, so he's been doing it for my God, many years. And I met him a couple times. He's always got a drink in his hand, and he's not a big dude, but he's retired. I don't know if he's retired from Pitt football too, but who do you think that they could get? Because I don't think they can get any. I think they have to get somebody younger.
Yeah, you got to get somebody younger and someone that doesn't drink, because I think Bill 3 years ago had a DUI.
I think he hit. I think he hit Mav's. I think he hit Mav's fucking truck. Mav was the one that fucking put it out to me today. He's like, yeah, he finally. Now I won't get my truck hit because I think he like walked in front of his truck, or he backed into or something. He almost hit fucking Mav's truck down at the Steeler game. I mean, hey, God bless you there, Bill Hillgrove, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to speak the ill, but he had a great career being a Steeler announcer, and I wish him well, and I just don't know who it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be any ex-Steeler, because I don't think any ex-Steeler could actually. It has to be somebody younger. It has to be enough to captivate the audience when he's calling like touchdowns, and you're going to have a play-by-play with Craig Wolfley, but you gotta be captivated enough. And I don't think Charlie Batch is great. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think Charlie or Starks.
Craig's a little too old.
Craig is good. Craig's a good side guy to get the in-depth conversations of the color, be the color analyst, but not be the head guy.
I just talked to Craig's nephew last week.
I'd seen that show. You jumped on. Yeah. That was. I didn't know he had that many brothers.
Yeah, I know he had Ron. So Craig is the oldest. He went to Syracuse.
Okay.
Played for the Steelers.
Yes, he did.
Ron was the second oldest. He played for West Virginia, and then went and played for the Cardinals.
Okay.
And then Dale is the youngest. He's the one that just passed away. Went to WVU.
What did he pass away from?
He had a heart attack.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, just out of the blue.
Just out of the blue. Yeah, his son was on the show when you came on and gave your condolences and stuff. And
he has a couple boys and So yeah, I just it was a good tribute. Just everybody come on and say a few things about how he was real charismatic and just a fun guy, and he had his favorites, and he coached was an assistant coach under Bill Stewart, and Bill
Okay.
Stewart was West Virginia's coach after Rich Rod left,
Okay.
and Bill Stewart hired Tomlin and gave Tomlin his first job at William and Mary.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so.
Oh, okay. Well, hey everybody. If you want to catch once again, you want to catch Shane if you're a West Virginia fan or you want to listen to his knowledge on college football because he's very knowledgeable. This is the show. You and Joey, and Joey's the host, and you're the host. You guys are both hosts of that show and stuff like that. And it seemed like there was a lot of people on and stuff like that. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you just don't know anymore, man. I mean, you got to take every day as if it's your last. And I was watching.
You can't if something at our age, if something's doesn't feel right, you got to get it checked out. Just don't be a tough guy.
Right. No, I know. And I'm just as bad, and I'm trying to lose weight and trying to go to the gym, and I'm going to be 53 and I'm not a small dude. And you know what I mean? It's not like I go crazy, but okay. I'm going to go with Steve's number 1 and number 2. Number 1 has to be my favorite original anti-hero, Wolverine. He's more a hero now, but always the one willing to do whatever needed to be done. The stuff no one else was willing to do. I mean, others will kill. Yeah. That's the one story where he killed the kid hiding out in the cave when his mutant kicked in. It was the power to kill any organic matter near him. So the kid woke up to his family being dead, went to the school and killed all his classmates, and then went and hid out in the cave. So Logan was the only one that could get near him and took care of him because it was the only viable option. I mean, who else would go through with that? Fucking Logan. That's why he's number 1 right there. Number 2 is Deadpool. Just his attitude and humor was just a great character that is absolutely unpredictable and a treat to follow along in his adventures. My God, he's like an author here. Everything G, from his love with death herself to trying to commit suicide by pissing off the Hulk so much he would pound him to a pulp. You never know what to expect. He got number 3 in because he's writing everything and explaining, which is awesome. His number 3 is Venom. So far, it's all 3 Marvel characters. Number 3 is Venom. I'm a Spider-Man fan, as you well know. This is true. So I've been around since the symbiote appeared in Secret Wars issue 8. That's a long time because I've been around that too. Steve's about my age and he's big, huge. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you what, he knows his comic book shit. And he gets pissed off when MCU doesn't do it right. And he doesn't like to watch the movies because it fucks him off. So, and that drawing of that Darth Vader I showed you at the house was Steve. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was phenomenal. I have his first appearance from back in the McFarlane days. It was nice to follow along and see him evolve into the character that let go of his hatred and fight for something more. And then I'll wait for his number 4. But those are 3 in-depth anti-heroes on Steve Schatz's Mount Rushmore. So, guys, if you want to play along with us, that's what we're here for on a Friday night. Kal-El's in the house. And speaking of Kal-El, he's all mad and stuff because The Rock did a 20-minute promo. But anybody that wants to subscribe to the Wonder Kids, Buckle to Buckle with Kal-El, who actually picked everything right there, and he was undefeated. He was, I must say, he picked every single one of those matches right. And somebody's like, "Oh, they were easy to pick." I'm like, "Hey, buddy," I said, "fucking Kal-El has been fucking picking them perfect like the last 2 pay-per-views," and it was the Mr. Grandy who was trying to bash on, Kal-El, and I took the flag bearer and was like, "Hey man, Kal-El was the last 2 pay-per-views. He's undefeated." So it is what it is. Timmy Palmer's in the house. And I got one more. He's got number 4 here. Number 4, not a big fan, but I respect the Punisher. He's the one character I wish I could have collected from the start. So those are his top 4. And he got an honorable mention was Harley Quinn, but she's overplayed and almost a cinch. It's cliche. You know what I'm saying? Because she's so overused. But that was his honorable mention. And Steve, thank you so much for playing the anti-hero Mount Rushmore game. Because I see stuff on Facebook and I like to use it for the show. So it gives people a way to interact. And I'd like to get Steve on one of these shows, but he said he couldn't stay long because he's got to go to work and it comes early in the morning. But hey, before I get out of here, if you can stick around a little bit, I got a little bit of wrestling stuff to talk about. And I want to, say, rest in peace to a lot of guys in the big guys in the big industry that made it to the big top. It usually happens in 3 when they pass away. You know what I mean? That's how it usually happens in anything, you know what I mean? Movies and whatever. But I think this one was first. I think this one here, he was butcher for Sean, wrestled all through every company. Him and his brother, the Mad Dog, they were tag team. He passed away this week. So that was one. The original Four Horsemen, Ole Anderson, and both Vachon and Ole were in their 80s. Ole hated Vince McMahon with a passion. He was a tough booker. He was a prick, and he was old school as old school could be. But he was booking, Georgia Championship Wrestling back in the day, and he was the original Four Horsemen with Flair, Arn, and Tully. So, I mean, he passed away. And then everybody in the professional wrestling world has a story about Virgil. And Virgil passed away. I saw him recently in Johnstown. He was not looking good at all. Virgil, a quick story. I was walking in Steel City Con because I used to do the Bubster gimmick when I dyed my hair blonde, and I was like a cheap Hulk Hogan ripoff, out of shape, eating donuts like a Homer Simpson kind of thing. And Virgil, I actually wrestled Virgil, and I know Kal-El's in the thing. It was Virgil, it was Dr. Feelgood, and it was Kato. They were the Fabulous the Freebirds 2000 or something, which was a ripoff of the Fabulous Freebirds. Tagged up with Virgil, because Virgil came in. He came in as a face earlier so he could get his 8x10s and make money. That's how he works. And he was working everything. And then he turned bad. He spray painted me NWO, and I couldn't get the goddamn paint off. But I did wrestle. I did wrestle Virgil. And then Virgil didn't. He had some nice choice words to say when we ran into him at Steel City Con, and he was talking shit. And I think Lash was like, "Hey, Mike, you don't need to be saying that." And I didn't appreciate what he said, but I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a Virgil story, but I mean, he went to the big time. He was, he's second Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. He's been at WrestleMania. So hey, Jason Reese from Pro Wrestling Extreme Talk. I was sitting beside Reese. We were watching. I'm gonna get to this too after. So rest in peace, Virgil. Everybody has a Virgil story. The meme of, Virgil sitting there with nobody around him is a meme, whatever, but he did make it to the big time. So you got to give props where credit is due. And also I want to give out a thing I watched last night about Diamond Dallas Page and Scotty Riggs with Buff Bagwell. He does that DDP and that redemption story, which is very good. But I think Scotty Riggs, I think Buff fell off the wagon, but Scotty Riggs, got it. He didn't have any teeth, and they put teeth in him because it was mental. He was going to kill himself, and he was part of the tag team in the WCW. So he lost his teeth. He was going to lose his house, and he was going to fucking kill himself. So he, Bagwell called him, because they're tag team partners, to have him come up because Diamond Dallas Page has a house. It's on YouTube. Anybody can watch it, and stuff like that. But yeah, he got his he worked out. You know what I mean? He got back into shape, and they gave him a fucking.
So this is on YouTube. This is
it's on YouTube. Look up Scotty Riggs. Okay. The redemption of Scotty Riggs. Yeah, and Larry said he was also in the Flock in in WCW back in the day. Also, and yeah, he just actually he's fucking in shape now, and then he actually wrestled in Georgia in Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. He was doing fucking arm drags. And like 8 months before that, he could fucking barely, he was out of shape. So, I mean, he was dedicating himself.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, if anybody, and I posted it on social media.
I saw Chris Coleman.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that.
The world beater. Yeah, okay.
Steve,
good.
Thanks for tuning in, brother. I'll get a hold of you.
So
You went to that show.
Not only me, I took Mitch and April.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. Took the wife to a wrestling show.
She was
that's awesome.
Not feeling it at first. Just kind of like, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Chris and Kato, they were cheering for Kato a little bit, and then towards the end they start cheering for Chris. And Chris beat Kato. They had Men of Mayhem.
Okay.
These two huge, just stacked black dudes.
Okay.
They were fantastic.
Okay.
And then they had some gimmick where these guys were in masks. They looked like they were lab coats.
The medics, the super medics. Those are
Yeah, they were
Mexicans.
good.
Yeah. Okay.
They were good. They it worked into the storyline real nice. And my favorite.
I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead and say it.
I haven't laughed so goddamn hard. Super Oprah.
I knew you were gonna say that.
And Beast Man were over the top funny.
Okay.
It was so fun. She came out to a great song. You know that song, I'm a 100% a bad bitch or whatever.
Oh,
you know?
no, okay, but that's
that.
Okay.
Oh, and everyone went nuts.
Okay.
And I was so surprised. They had this real pretty girl from Maria Del Luca. I think she's from Mars.
Yeah. She was at RW. She was at Rise Wrestling, and me and Tammy went down. And Tammy is the female talent coordinator. Her and Larry. So Tammy was talking to her.
And then Skylar from Lordstown, Ohio. She's about 5 foot nothing.
Yep.
But she is like so athletic.
So you were impressed. You were impressed, and April and your son was impressed with the females and impressed with the wrestling all in general, because I know you guys never been to one before.
That ballroom is really nice. It's called the Crystal Ballroom at Tesla. It used to be the Days Inn. They had covers over each seat. It looked really nice. Okay. We got ringside seats. We had ringside seats.
Wow. Okay.
And it was just really nicely done.
Well, the promoter's dad is Corey Graves from WWE. Is Polinsky? That's his dad runs that promotion.
Oh, so that's Corey Graves' dad runs that show.
Yes. And Sammy Adonis, his other son, who wrestles in Mexico. And Sammy's a good dude, man. I've had a book.
He's gonna be at the show. They're coming back in May.
Okay.
So you need to come down.
I probably will.
We'll have lunch. I'll take you out to lunch, and then we'll go see a show. It's fantastic.
Well, let's see if I'm not working. Yeah, because that's all I do every day is work. But so let me ask you. So you were that was your first independent show ever? No, because you went to Imagine.
I went with you. Okay. I went with you to Imagine.
Okay, so
I thought it was. I'll tell you what. Gorgeous Gregory was there. He did good. People just booed the shit out of him.
Well, yeah, I booed the shit.
He was a heel.
He needs longer hair.
Well, he's losing a lot of his hair.
Well, that's not good.
No. So if you're going to be gorgeous, you can't be like.
Yeah. Well, gorgeous Gino Hernandez. That's a great. That's one of the great gimmicks. But poor Gino did too much coke in the 80s.
Sammy Adonis is going to be there in May.
Okay. Larry said he heard lunch. Larry said he heard lunch, and then he said,
"Larry, come down."
Beastman balls fall out of his tights this time. He said,
"No, Beastman's balls stayed in there, but but Super Oprah was like this. She's like, you need to wash those things."
Oh, that's funny.
Super Oprah was fantastic.
Now, how many people in your?
I counted about 160. About 160.
Oh, you're fucking good, Shane. You're
good. 160.
Oh, 160.
So it's $25 for regular ticket and $30 for a for ringside. For front row.
Oh wow! Yeah. Holy shit! Well, see, you went to that show, and I went to. Let me see if I can find it, because I can. I went to this show.
Yeah,
IWC.
Elias.
That's where. Yeah. Well, when I got there.
Now Elijah.
Well, Elijah. Okay. Now, when I got there, it was fucking standing room only. Like, I got there and I stood by like the entrance. I talked to Dean Radford, who I did the interview with. Dean was down there with his family, former IWC alumni and trainer at Rise Wrestling. We talked for a little bit, and then I saw Reese sitting over in the bleachers, and he had his daughter come over and was like, "Hey, there's a seat there." So I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go over and we shot the shit, So the three and this guy behind me, he had long white hair, beard, and he was like, "Hey, Bubba," and I looked around. I was like, wait. I go, "Brooks." He's like, "Yeah." I go, "Holy fuck, dude! It was Jeff Brooks, former APWF wrestler Cooter, and he used to referee, and then his gimmick was Cooter, and he did wrestle. He was like in the first training. He was from Punxsutawney in the DuBois area and stuff, and he was behind me, him and his buddy. And Brooks is big into wrestling. Brooks knows his shit. He went out to Washington. He was watching Darby Allin and Swerve Strickland before they got huge. He's like, Bubba, I went to that federation. He goes, they were good. And he was telling me about some Enjoy Wrestling and stuff. And like we were watching, and it was IWC. It was reloaded, so they had the big screen. You know what I mean? And then they pretend like it would go through. Like they had a picture of Joe Biden and shit, you know. And then they would go, and then it would be championship matches, and then it would be picked on the screen, and that's who they faced, which was a great concept. I think it was a great concept.
Yeah.
So they had some great matches, and then I think one of the main event guys, Gannon Jones or Duke Davis, I get them confused. I'm so sorry, but they are a great tag team, but they split up. They wrestled Too Cold Scorpio, who's 58 fucking years old, taking more bumps than anybody I've ever seen, going off the top rope. I'm looking at Reese. Reese is looking at me. I'm looking at Brooks, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, he was just doing everything. He was working his ass off, and he was doing autographs at intermission. And I went up to him, and I said, hey, man, great job. I said, and then well, Elijah come out, Elias. I don't know. It's like Heinz Stadium and Askisher Stadium. So Elijah,
Stadium.
Yeah. So he was doing his singing, a little bit, and then he thanked everybody because that's his home fed. That's where he got his start, So, and Larry said Reese is a mark, but hey, we're all marks, Larry. So, and then they had like a battle royal or a Royal Rumble where they would do the reload, and then every position they would circle through, and then the picture would come on, and then they would come through, and it was pretty good. And then the 16 entry, and then the last entry was fucking Elijah, and he hit fucking Derek Dillinger with his fucking guitar, like fucking splinters were flying everywhere. So he wrestled. Andrew Palace was the last one, and then Elias tossed him over, and Elijah got the like Money in the Bank kind of thing, so he can come back at any time. And it was packed, dude. It was. I bet you there was fucking. I bet you there was 600 or 700 people.
What do you pay Elijah? Like what does he take?
Well, at IWC he probably gets a friend deal. Speaking of paying wrestlers and booking wrestlers,
I know. I was going to get to that.
Oh, I'm okay. Yeah.
Come on,
so
Bubba.
you get friend prices, I'm sure, and that was his home fed, so he probably cut a deal. I'm not getting a deal. I mean, I like to. I mean, and speaking of that, like, and Larry is everybody's. I can't. I'm a little hyper. Not because I had an energy drink, because I did when I worked out, because my whole day was crazy today. But, I finally got the license. Finally. Yes, thank you. Well, the first part is I didn't sign I signed a company name instead of my name. So the commissioner, I called back, and he was like, sorry. He goes, I would do it, but you need a signature. And I had to fax it Tuesday.
As Tony Stark.
Yeah, no, it's Ken Brewer. Because actually I own the Allied Powers Wrestling Company. So the Allied Powers Wrestling Federation, the banner that I have downstairs. I have this logo right here that
APWF,
I made. But actually, the Wonder Kid Kal-El is throwing some logos up and trying to get something that he you know what I mean? Like I have I'm looking for a lot of team unity here. Like, is it this just ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening here, if you're still on the podcast, or if you watch it on replay, yes, I finally, as of today, the commissioner gave me my license. I'll get everything in the mail, but I'm official back again to becoming a professional wrestling promoter, which is very strenuous and very chaotic and very whatever, because when I did it back in the day, it was just me and Mav, and I worked me and Troy. It was me, Troy Fritz, and Mav when we did the Throwback Championship Wrestling. But honestly, it was me and Gary busting our ass doing whatever. I mean, it was Mav was booking talent because he was doing that, and I was doing the promoting and putting it out there and trying to get people into the seats. So the thing about it is, like, IWC, it's almost 700 people. You know what I mean? Had a great show, and IWC is the best federation probably on the East Coast. One of the best, probably the top company.
Yeah.
In and maybe below that would probably a basis on people wise. Imagine is good too. RWA is good. You know, right? They're all good.
Rise is good.
But when they're getting big names and they're getting 5 to 1,000 people, that's pretty good. And Maryland Championship Wrestling, and Maryland gets it. You know what I mean? So, and Maryland Championship Wrestling's been around a long time. I mean, that's the numbers that you would want to get. Like, I honestly, having a promoter's license, if I get 100 and 100.5, it's not going to do me any good. I'm going to be blatantly honest with everybody on this podcast and honest to everybody. 150 people is not going to cut it. 200 people is not going to cut it. I need
500 is the magic number.
Well, God bless you. 350 is good. I would
Really?
take, I would take 350, but at 100.5 to 175 is nothing against anybody else. But when you're putting a lot of money and there's nothing going on in the area, and if you have to, what you need to do, as I need to do, and I'm going to, is try to get the regular wrestling fans who love, and I love wrestling. I've been a wrestling fan all my life. Besides being a Steeler fan, a comic book, I love everything. I mean, there isn't a day that I don't think, and I'm not talking or doing something about pro wrestling. I've been in the wrestling business since 1996. So in the ring, being an owner, being a promoter, not having my license, it's something that I never got to be able to run a show. I just want to try one show and see how it goes. I'm sure I'm going to piss people off. But honestly, though, it's not about it. I'm not going to get on my soap opera box and be boastful and egotistical or whatever. But realistically, in this business, you have to be egotistical. But I don't think I'm any better than anybody else. And a lot of companies have a lot more money. They have money. You got to have money to run wrestling shows. But don't get me wrong. I told the people that I had to tell that I got the license. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And everybody knows, and I told Larry, I told my wife, I told Chris. Chris was, he's going to the Arnold Classic, him and the Rad Boys. I'm like, hey, I got my license. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for political bullshit. This ain't, I got to run where I can, and got to run when I get the dates. That's, you know what I mean?
So where are the areas you would like to run? Let's go through that.
I would love to run Indiana, of course, Indiana, PA. But the buildings are very, very expensive. I contacted the S&T Bank Arena, and it was pricey. So the price for the arena, the price for the doctor, the price for all the talent, that's a lot of money. Tickets, I mean, when I was doing this before, I was charging $10 tickets and 12 at the door.
Yeah.
Sorry. You just said you paid what, $30?
$30
ringside? Yeah, I'm gonna have to. And me and Larry were talking. Me and Larry, and then you're going to be part of this. Like, we're going to have
people came from Worthington. I talked to folks I know. I saw there. They're like, we go to Worthington every time they have a show.
Well, Worthington is the Pro Prospect Wrestling. They run on Friday nights. They run every Friday night. So realistically, there's no competition. But it's kind of hard to run Friday nights during football season.
Yeah. And here's the thing with Worthington, they get 100 to 125, you know, there.
Yeah.
And they don't have to pay a lot for the venue because it's an old schoolhouse.
Well, that's where they do it. That's the ticket. That's the ticket, because back in the day when we used to do Club Extreme, we used to get 200, maybe two. It was sold out every time, but we also trained there. We had a locker room and we had our own concessions. Now, I don't want to do. Maybe I'm throwing out my cards here. I don't want to do. I want to work with people, and they can make money on concessions. That's I don't want to do concessions because it takes away from the product of the wrestling. Look,
what about a football boosters or something like that? You know,
like if Donnie can get us at the Marion Center School and having and people, if you realize in Marion Center there was 4 or 5 professional wrestlers that came from Marion Center. You have myself, you have Donnie. Donnie was a professional wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Pouch as Charlie Manson was a professional wrestler. Ben Benametti as El Tiburon was a professional wrestler. There's 4 guys, and Cliff Friedel was a manager, the warden. So you have 5 guys at Marion Center that was in professional wrestling. And I would love to do something at Marion Center with the Scholastics because Donnie's a coach. You know what I mean? With
Mm-hmm.
Marion Center football or wrestling, or try to give back to the communities. Look, I'm about charity.
Yeah.
These is about, I'll do stuff with the military. I've always did stuff with the military, but I couldn't give a lot. That was the thing because I had to pay the boys, and I did
That's
Wounded
right. You got to
Warriors
take
stuff.
care of the talent, get
I
people
got to,
there,
yeah, I
for
got to
butts and
take
seat.
care. But the thing is, Shane, I don't know what the price is for talent because it's different now. It's after COVID.
That's what I was trying to figure out. Like, I don't know what my son and wife asked, what are these guys, what are they pulling in for this? Because that's some talent there for this that came from Maryland.
Probably a couple $1,000s of talent. You know what I mean? And
I
they
was
have
thinking that.
yeah. So you know what I mean? So you got your venue, you got your I don't know how I'm doing this. Venue, you gotta have a doctor at all these events.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm running stuff right. I'm not running. And then you have to, you got a ring in the middle of your building, in the middle of the building. You got to have 10 feet. You can't have 6 or 8. You just got to be 10 feet on each side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because some people probably, cut it a foot here and cut it a foot there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't have a ring anymore. I'm gonna have to rent a ring. I used to have a ring. I had the best bumping ring in fucking Western Pennsylvania. I sold it to Troy, who sold it to Lucio DeVere, who now Imagine Wrestling has it as a training thing. And I would have bought it back and still probably could have ran it. I mean, it's been to Florida and back. You know what I mean? It had at one time the APWF had the biggest guys in wrestling. Hey Ralph Williams. Oh hi honey, my wife's on there. So and to buy a wrestling ring is $10,000. You know what I mean? But I mean, if you're gonna play the part, you got to be the part. I mean, I want wrestlers. I want family entertainment.
Right.
Okay. No one's gonna call anybody a fat ass in the crowd. I'm not having that.
Yeah.
And no offense, I wouldn't book that dude for Timbuktu. So I you know what I mean? And I'm not getting people just to get people. And a lot of people from the APWF are no longer wrestling. So guys, you guys can come and you know what I mean? I'll give them their props and stuff, but if they haven't wrestled, I think the only person is Donnie because Donnie's still a brick shithouse. Donnie's still in fucking shape. And I want to give Donnie, I don't know how I'm going to do it or what I'm going to do it. I want to give Donnie the
Swan song.
the last little bow. And that's why I would like to do something at Marion Center or Indiana County due to the fact that Donnie is well liked in the community. And, him and Chris could tag up one more time as Team Tap Out as the former AP. They were my tag team champions from the APWF. It's going to be APWF presents. I'm not going to have the APWF title or whatever. I would like to work with other wrestling companies, but I don't know what their egos are going to be. I'm like, my God. I mean, well, thank you, Stryker. I want to work. I don't have. I mean, I have an ego, but God damn it, I have integrity. So I just want everybody. And everybody won't get along. I want to do something.
Yeah, you don't worry about that.
I'm not. I can care less.
So you had the S&T arena. What do they want? How much do they want?
Well, I would tell you offline.
Okay, tell me offline.
It's a little high.
Okay, so what are the other places? What are the other venues you could, like a school?
Well, a school, if I could get a school, I have.
What about?
Here's
a thought.
Okay.
What about a mega church?
Well, if the church would actually, well, you know what? If I could get the Omni, because we ran shows in the Omni, but I don't know how that is now. But the Omni has turned into a church. I would do a church thing. I am not susceptible or whatever because it's all family entertainment. It's not gonna. No one's gonna be swearing. They're not going to be.
No,
It's not going to be hardcore matches with barbed wire and shit like that. It's not
no,
going to happen because it's not happening on TV where they're making millions. You know
nope.
what I mean? With like WWE and AEW does. That's a little different. That's a little extreme, but you know what I mean. It depends on where you're at. Say a bar contacted me and wanted a bar show, then you do it a little differently. But you still can't be mother effing people, and you can't be doing slurs and
No.
stuff like that. And nowadays it's different than back at K Arena when people were blah 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 blah, and there were so many fights after the shows. I mean, the state was going to shut me down because people were being jackasses, and some of my wrestlers were taking advantage of the situation and taking advantage of Bubba got that drink. Yeah, that's true too. I let him have one drink, and I didn't want him drinking before, but some of them did. I can't prove it, but you know what I mean. And my bartenders would tell. They would tell. They're like, "Hey, Bubba, we already gave these guys drinks," and they said, "Oh, well, Bubba's got it." So they would throw my name out there, and I was like, that's enough, guys." So you know what I mean. So they wanted more than what they wanted. So I mean, I've had a lot of dealings with a lot of political stuff over my time. I don't want to get political. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I don't want to get in arguments with anybody because this time is different. Like last time, I was probably a lot nicer. I mean, I'm still nice, but I'm business oriented. You know what I mean? Like I gave
Well,
everybody an opportunity, and people fucking shit on me.
well, here's the thing. This is one show, and then we'll see what happens from there. But I mean,
Right.
you're not here to you're older. You're not here to develop all the relationships. You either want to wrestle for you or you don't. That's it,
Right.
right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I want people that are good, that look like wrestlers, that actually. I mean, there's people I want to get. I mean, my God, I mean, definitely Coleman. I want Coleman. I'm throwing some names out there. I like the Rad Boys. I want the Rad Boys if I can get them booked. I just don't know how. You know what I mean? That'll come. I definitely would like big time Bill Collier.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I ain't that fucking. Bill's the best fucking independent wrestler on this side of the East Coast. And if he's on a company and if he's on a poster, I seen him fucking pick a dude up who was 6'9" and bench fucking gorilla press him over his head. Me and Reese seen him. I seen him. I
That
seen
was
him
the last
suplex him.
match you went to.
Yes, I seen him suplex people that are almost 400 pounds. Pure power, whatever age he is, I don't give a shit. He's a machine. He's a wrestling phenomenon. He is like he started with me over up on top of the hill. You know what I mean? And and I wasn't smart, and I probably didn't do the right things. I mean, I admit to my mistakes.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But yes, definitely have Bill Collier. Definitely have a ladies match. Definitely.
I'll tell
You
you
got to
what,
have
that girl from Lordstown, that whatever
Gina.
Sky,
Scott. Oh, hey, Gina. Gina was in NXT.
Gina.
She was in WWE.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of people. And there's some people that I never could book before. And I'm going to throw like Shane Malice and Zach Rain. I could never book them before. The Reverend Ron Hunt. I could never book them before because at that time I would like to get him. Johnny Norris, I was going to book him, but he tore his knee up, I believe. He's going to have surgery. And I seen him and the Reverend Ron Hunt fight for the Fight Underground Championship. And that Fight Underground is a company that I was part of that we never got to, do anything because we did it during COVID. But
Mm.
Dean has the championship belt, and the champion is the Reverend Ron Hunt. If he wanted to defend that title on a show, if he could be booked, because he is booked everywhere, you know what I mean? And I'm looking at a Sunday because nobody runs on Sundays. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? 2.5 hours, 3 hours in and out. You know what I mean? Like I wanted. I told Larry, my neighbor Larry, because he was at my first show at APWF. That's what I want. I wanted at the if I can get the Punxsutawney Community Center. That first APWF show, I sold 300 tickets myself. It was fucking packed. I didn't do anything. I sucked in a ring. I hip tossed somebody, and the Sheik threw powder in my eyes. You know. And speaking of Larry, yes, you learned a lot since running the big run wrestling days. He said you'll get this. Yeah. So I'm just looking for, and I'm going to use my name around here in Indiana, PA. I would use my name, and hopefully people would just come and see the product. I'm not
Yeah.
wrestling. I am not wrestling anymore. I'm not wrestling anymore. My job is to get people in the seats to be entertained, to forget about their problems at home, to cheer for the good guy, boo the bad guy. I mean, if they want to cheer for the heel, they can. It doesn't matter. Like I said, I got you, I got Larry. Larry and his podcast, are going to be doing stuff.
Mhm.
Larry's going to be looking, at wrestlers he's seen and stuff like that. I just threw it out there to everybody, so that's just how it is. Um, my wife's going to help out behind the scenes, and Tammy is
So
supporting me
how
100%.
far are you willing to
How far?
produce? Like how Katanning, uh
Well,
how
I
far
mean,
into like Johnstown?
well,
Like what's the
Johnstown. I mean, me and Larry have been talking. I had an opportunity. Kenny Meyer, contacted when I posted that post out. Winber. We did run Winber before.
Mhm.
With it was called Championship Wrestling. It was a sub thing of APWF. That was Lash's baby. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm looking for 350, 350. 150 is just not cutting it. I that would be a waste. I might as well just keep the license and keep. I'm going to keep getting this license every year. I'm not getting rid of it.
Yeah.
And anybody that
So
wants to use my license, come
so
talk
I,
to
I
me.
would think I would think like a 40-mile ring
Yeah, for if it, I mean,
around Indiana.
I travel fucking. I mean, I'm different though. I'll travel an hour from my house or an hour and a half to go see. I go to Altoona. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I
I'll
mean? I'm
start
not going.
looking
I'm,
like
I'm not running Altoona. That's for sure.
no, I'll start looking in my end. That's what I'm trying to
Well, Pro
for
Prospect
venues.
is down there. They do whatever. But hey, if you would say, hey, Bubba, I got a fundraiser at your son's high school, then we all would
Yeah,
take part and help out and do that. And boom, we
yeah.
get I'd rent a ring, and you know what I mean, and we get the sound, and
Yeah, I
and they
might
would.
I could ask some of the folks out here if they'd want to do that as a
Well,
fundraiser.
sometimes that's a little better than selling pizzas and hoagies.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a lot of hard work. I'm not gonna deny that. Because since I'm not running a wrestling company, I got to buy a house.
Yeah.
I do my hobbies. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're still listening, I've been doing this podcast since 2018. I have never made a dime off this podcast. I have spent a little bit of money every month to keep it going through StreamYard and the Canvy, which I'm getting a little bit better in graphics. You know what I mean? To do posters and stuff like that. I know Jesse DeMarc, who does IWC posters, used to do our posters back in the day. He's great. But I don't know what he costs, but I want professionally done posters, or I'll try, to get my posters down and see how I can do them. You know what I mean? And, put and sponsorship is the key also. Myself and Larry and probably everybody else works on sponsorship. When you have sponsorship, you know what I mean? That helps out with, some of the cost. I mean, it does.
Yeah, like Kelly Chevrolet or Kelly Key or whatever out here
Uh-huh.
sponsored that show I went to, and they just
Oh,
made a couple announcements. So I'm sure that
well,
helps
look,
immensely.
I have this podcast. I can bring anybody who sponsors to come on the show and talk about their business. You know what I mean, and promote it as best I
Mhm.
can, and then come up with ways, and then me and Larry, come up with different ways on giving people more bang for their buck. And do
Well,
like
another thing you can do is like on the back of the ticket, put a coupon for that business.
I used to do Wendy's in
Yeah.
Indiana, and while I used to do nobody was there programs at this show?
I didn't see any programs.
A program, you get sponsorships and you put everything in the program, and then you would just, you could give it out.
Yep.
Okay, you give it out, and then people could use it as autographs or whatever. But also too, do something. I never ran any shows with the APWF where we did a meet and greet. So that's something different. Larry brought that up
Mhm.
today, a meet and greet. You know what I mean? Because for me, I'm not wrestling, so that was that was part of the stuff where I
Well,
was
here's the
promoting and wrestling,
yeah,
and I was
you
doing
can
everything.
schmooze and you
Yeah.
can do more now that you're not in the ring. So I think that's better for you. So that's a
Well,
good
yeah.
idea.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm a politician, but the thing is, though, if I could get, if I can get Indiana County behind me, if I could get 25% of these people on my social media to come to a show, and then other people, that's a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I know a lot of people. There isn't a day that people don't. I'm telling you, hey, but still, I know I'm not wrestling anymore.
Yeah.
But it's not my time is over. My time is to promote. I'm not getting back in a ring. I don't have anything to prove to fucking nobody. I mean, in real life situations, I'm popping you in the fucking face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I mean, my job is whatever, and I carry a big stick and I demand respect, and if I don't get it, they're going to give it to me. That's a little different, but I just want to get, I mean, and I know we're talking about it a lot, but it's, like I said, it's a team, and I have a lot of people that said, "Hey, Bob, let me know. We'll help you," and I appreciate that. Like he said throat punch. Larry did, but I've already thinking about barbecue Bob. If it was Indiana, have Bob do his
Hmm.
his trailer and have concessions, and he would get the money. I don't want the money. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like I don't want that. But Larry, we've been talking about J Town. You know what I mean? And working in on that. I might have a meeting very very soon. You know what I mean? Like I said, I got the license. That was always the biggest key, because back in the day, Shane, we used to pay $400 for a license on one show. So I don't know how the hell we made
Wow.
any money. So
Wow.
the Club Extreme was $500 a month rent, $400 for a license, $400 for a doctor. Tickets were $10, 12 at the door. You only can get 200 people, and you're paying a little bit, because you have trainees, and you're putting trainees on people that are training. I didn't make a lot of money in that. I didn't. 50 to whatever at that time, maybe 75. And then I sold gimmicks. You sell gimmicks, you know what I mean? That was part of my money. I bought a front burner shirt the other day, man. I got my shirt.
That's fantastic.
I paid $25 for Bill, to get his shirt, and I'll wear it proudly. You know what I mean? Like, but also too, I mean, the connections that I have, with the D'Angelo brothers, those podcasts, they're podcasters that do WWE podcasting. You know what I mean? I'm trying to make a lot of connections. Those guys could come to the show. You know how it is.
Yeah,
It's
they could be
they
guest
could,
announcers.
yep, yeah, yeah. I mean, and I'm going to have people that want to, hey, Bob, hey, Bob, here's my resume and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, but I just can't, I think, 7 to 8 matches or something like that. What do they have down there?
It went 3 hours.
Okay.
It was like clockwork.
Yeah.
They would announce times every now and then. You could tell
Uh
to
huh.
keep them on,
Sure. Was it Hank Hudson, the announcer?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Hank is good, man. Tuxedo.
And yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
here's the thing that was, my wife's like 3 hours. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna go 3 hours. I think 8 matches, 7 or 8,
Okay. Okay.
and
And then you have an
intermission.
yep.
And then they had
And then the thing is, though, you can do 50-50s now, I think, because I've seen 50-50s at shows.
that's just it, Bubba. They did 50-50s. The
You know,
50-50 was $225.
well, there you go, and that goes to the look. That would go to the charity, because when you're giving
Hmm.
people big look, I have a good job, you know what I mean, but I don't want to mortgage my house to fucking front a wrestling company. I'm just being real.
Hmm. Yeah.
Other wrestling companies have 4 or 5 people that put money in. Back in the day, we had people put money in. It was a corporation. You know what I mean? I'm giving you a little bit of stick, because hey man, it is what it is. It's my podcast, and I
Hmm.
call it the way I see it. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I had an individual who wanted to put money up and say, "Hey, Bubba, I got some money. Let's go." I'll hitch my fucking horse to that. I'm gonna be honest with everybody and honest with you. I had it when K Arena. The K's
Hmm.
had money. And I'm here to say that, you know what I mean? $22,000 they gave me for 2 shows. There ain't nobody that did that. Problem is, we didn't get a lot of people, and the tickets were high. and and uh and the thing is though, it's always, it's a double-ended sword. Being able to drink and have wrestling, because then people want to be part of the fucking show. You know what I mean? If they could act accordingly and have a couple beers like they are going to a
Well,
Pens
that's why
game.
this family. It was a family. Most of the guys, most of the folks in the audience were our age.
Uh huh.
There was some couples there,
Uh huh.
and then probably 25% were families.
Okay, well that's good. And the thing is though, like I've always said, in Indiana County alone, there's probably 10 to 15 schools, middle school, high school, and
Mm-hmm.
I was always thinking economics, population wise. So if you have 10 schools in Indiana County and you get 5 kids from all those schools, well, no kids coming by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So there's your 100 right there to start off with, and that's just the schools. Because I mean,
Yeah, but the
people can.
people in the audience weren't young. Most of them were a couple.
Older.
20% were college age. The rest were
Oh,
like
okay.
50s.
Oh,
50s,
okay.
60s, 70s, and then you had like
Wow. Okay. They must have been fans.
the.
Well, I want people that are 2 years old to
Yeah,
85 years
yeah.
old.
There were
Yeah.
some kids there, and they're going ape shit. But it
Okay.
wasn't. I thought it'd be more kids, but it was very family friendly. I think this guy's going to pick up,
Oh,
start doing some more
yeah.
shows.
Well, he used to do FMW, and he ran good shows. So
Yeah,
he and plus his sons are, when you have your sons working for the WWE and the other son was wrestling in Mexico, they're great
yeah.
guys. So I mean, Polinsky runs a good organization. So you know what I mean. And I don't want to run against anybody on the same
No,
day.
no, no.
That's just, and hopefully I can get out there where people like, I could tell people, hey, I'm going to be running this day, and maybe if somebody's coming through town, I could, if we're running, I could get some talent. You know what I mean? Or also too, if like other companies want to put their best, if they want to put their title and defend a title on the show, I have an open. It's independent wrestling. It's Allied Powers. You know what Allied Powers is? You're in military. Allied
Yeah,
Powers is
yeah,
people coming together to fight a common enemy.
yeah, yeah.
And that's how it was. Allied Powers Wrestling Federation. I mean, it was based on a lot of concept. It was based on a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And
Or
I don't want to come up with a new name because the name is already in the state already. I already owned it.
well,
So it's
you could always just fib and say it's Austin Powers Wrestling.
well, I mean, I want to have everybody that was in the old APWF to come back and be alumni and enjoy a show. And
Yeah, yeah.
I will give those guys their props and invite them in the ring and give them their props that they couldn't get before, and give them the respect that they fully deserve. So I mean, some people
So
have
I'm
passed
hoping.
away,
Yeah,
and other people are still living around here, and they didn't get their props. And
I'm hoping you keep it, in the county. But if you do have to go out of the county, it would be, it's all about the venue and it's all about the support.
it's about the venue and the support. And Johnstown's not that far from my house.
No,
And the Extreme Podcast boys are down that way, and
that's right.
they are they are a viable part of this team. You are a viable part of this team. Kal-El is a viable part of this team.
Yeah,
My
I'll
wife
tell you
is a
what.
vital part of this team. Anybody that wants to help me out is a viable part of this team. Anybody out there who wants to give money to this organization to get this off is a very viable part of this team. I mean, that's
Yeah.
just how it is. That's how some companies are. Some companies, you know what I mean? Some companies got, they got a guy with money who wants to spend a little money to get everything started. You don't need a lot. I don't have a wrestling ring. I mean, I could store a wrestling ring. Okay. I had a wrestling ring. I had sound at that time, but it's like Larry said, it's a team concept.
What's the
Nobody
date?
wins championships. I haven't got a date yet.
No, no.
Um,
Like, what's the date that you turn into a pumpkin that you don't want to exceed? Is there a no later than date, or would have to roll it
I
on
don't
to
want to.
into the next year?
I don't want to run Sundays during football, so I got to get something before football. I
Okay,
don't want
there
to
you
go.
go.
Yeah, I don't want to ever go against the Steelers, and I didn't want to go against Saturdays. But if I have to go, and I got a place that's like, hey, Bubba, this place is on a Saturday. I really don't want to compete with anybody, but if you get the golden ticket and it's the opportunities are there, give me 300. I got 300 people. I've always said this: do you want a steak dinner or do you want to eat fucking hot dogs? So you got to have a good show. You got to
Hmm.
have a good, you just got to. I want something that I want to be proud to, I just don't want somebody off the street. You know what I mean?
No, I know that. That's not even in question, Bubba. I know
No.
you're gonna
Yeah.
get the talent, and right now I'm just thinking about
I
where
just want to.
where it's
I
gonna
just want
be.
to get something with Donnie a little bit, whatever. I mean, I don't know if that could happen because Donnie's got to get in the ring and get the rust off. You just can't go in and I mean he can lift up a fucking Toyota truck, but also too, it's different. Lifting weights is different than being in
Picking
the
up a
ring. And
person,
then
yeah.
yeah, well, doing the moves and doing whatever and being
Hmm.
cohesive with Chris because Chris has been in the ring, so and that chemistry that they had back in the day it's muscle membrane and stuff like that because Jake the Snake Roberts said, if you don't train every 4 days, you get rusty. That's what he
Hmm.
said on his podcast, and I believe. And Jake the Snake is one of the smartest minds in the business. And I also would like to get like a name to sign autographs too. You know what I mean? Like to a legend to come and sign autographs. If here's another idea, if somebody wants to bring somebody in, I'm cool with that too. You know what I mean? They would get all their gimmick money. Hey, Bubba, I want to bring so and so in to do autographs. Sure, God bless you. We'll sit down and talk about it. You make sure he comes in because you got to pay these hired guys. You got to pay for travel. Got to get them a hotel. You got to do whatever. So if they're going to get if they want somebody, if somebody wants to bring somebody in,
Hmm.
and pay for it, hey, I'm all about that. It ain't. I look. I am not going to tell anybody. No, if they want to do that. If they wanted to, hopefully the wrestler if they want to bring in is well worth it and gives them back their money and gimmicks and stuff like that. But if they just want to put money up and say, hey, Bubba, I want to bring so and so in for you. Hey, I'm cool with that too. You know what I mean? Like it's not about me. It's about me doing something because if I start pulling in 350 people, then people will be like, they'll start talking again. And that's what I mean. If I have to go door to door, that's how I am. And I know we've been chatting about this for a while, and I don't care. But I'd have to. It's you have to promote every day. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
I can't give people fucking posters and have them putting out there. Now it's social media. I was putting posters up, on telephone poles in Indiana, and I was going to get fined $25 a pole back in the day. Yeah. So, and asking, and getting ticket outlets and doing whatever. And I don't know about a website because you can do it on Facebook and then get somebody, to run the site. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can just be an admin and let them do whatever and they can be
You
as
just
creative
yeah.
as they want to be, get some
Well,
photographers.
we got to figure out how if people want to buy tickets, pre-order tickets, we need to have a
Yeah.
we can figure me and you can figure that out
Yeah, well,
offline.
we'll have a council of the round table kind of
Yeah.
thing on how to do that because I mean I'm 5 minutes from a major college.
Yeah.
They have a communication. They're always looking to actually intern, producing stuff.
Hmm.
So but I'll get to these other wrestling shows. There's tons of wrestling shows. I'm gonna go through it real quick. There's this show right here. Boom, boom, boom. March 22nd in Greensburg, PWX.
McKeesport.
Yep, next week, Horsepower. That guy with the sunglasses there is Horsepower. The muscle bound dude, Horsepower, good
Hmm.
dude. Talk to him all the time, man. He sends me his stuff, man. This is Rise Wrestling, March 9th also. It's the NWA World Heavyweight Championship match. And RWA. See how many wrestling companies there are? Chris
Man, a lot.
Taylor, Reverend Ron. Yeah, it's a lot of wrestling companies. And then Imagine Wrestling got Enzo Amore. Not a big Enzo fan, but I'm a Chris Coleman and a Rad Boys fan. So I mean, but see, there's a lot of wrestling. And then now my company is in the, is in the back in the day there was 3 companies. It was PWX, Steel City Wrestling, and the APWF. And now there's tons. That's true. It was three companies. And
ABC, NBC, and Fox, right?
right. Well, let me tell you before I get off. The Allied Powers Wrestling Federation actually had their first press conference in the Wild Samoan Training School. Lash went down there with Pops and actually did the announcement of the APWF down at the Wild Samoan Academy. That is correct, everybody. If you guys are listening and if you guys get it on replay, that is true. Chris Lash was the founder of the APWF. He's since passed. But it was me and him, and sometimes we struck gold, but sometimes we didn't. But hopefully this time I can strike gold with a great team because great teams win you championships. So I mean, it's going to be, it'll keep everybody busy, kind of. You know what I mean? And I appreciate all you guys, and I appreciate everybody anyway. So I'm and the biggest thing is the person on the other side somewhere in his house. If she would have said no, I wouldn't have been doing this. But also too, she's she's a talent coordinator now. She's a talent scout because she has 10 years of going to shows, and what she likes is what
Yeah.
she likes. She wants a ladies wrestling match.
I'll tell you what, I agree 100%. The girls I watched were
and that was one of the
good,
girls.
if
That
not
was one of the
better.
yes, and that was one of the
they
girls
were
she wanted was
fantastic.
the Gina girl, and then Larry's also
It-
looking at
yeah.
talent. So
And
I
then that
mean,
Maria girl from Mars. So you got the girl from Lordstown, Ohio, and the one from Mars.
well, I just
One's
got to put it.
blonde, one's brunette.
I just got to put it out there, and then get people that send me some stuff, and give me some good prices, and go from there. And I got Kal-El. I told Kal-El, do some media, and also Kal-El's gonna, if he goes out and he's a talent scout. You know what I mean? Like it just gives everybody an opportunity. You know what I mean? I'm giving a 14-year-old kid an opportunity to help with a professional wrestling company. Nobody else would ever do that. I'm giving you an opportunity to do. You know what I mean? I'm giving. I'm just. We're all. I'm giving. I'm giving. I'm getting an opportunity again. So I just want. You know what I mean? I just want. And everybody's gets along, and everybody has worked. On these podcasts and busted their ass and self promoted. I mean, you self promote. Larry self promotes. Kal-El's promoting. You know what I mean? I do it in my sleep. So, but I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I mean that's it all in a nutshell, and I'm sure I'll be talking about it more and more and more. But also too, this is the lifeline. My podcasts are the lifeline because I'm still going to be doing that. I'm still trying to network, and he said like Oprah, money for everybody. But I mean, I'm still trying to network to get some Steelers on the Black and Gold show. I mean, I'm always looking for interviews to do. So, anybody out there, I know there's some people that I told about some interviews and stuff, and I'm more than happy to interview. I could do stuff every day. But I'm just doing 2 shows mainly right now, unless we have we're gonna have a big WrestleMania pick me show, and stuff like that, and just go from there, and just I'll keep plugging, and if I can get off camera, I'll tell you the price of the S&T Bank Arena.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear.
Yeah. But yeah, hey everybody, I'm glad you guys stay tuned and you want to come along for this journey. I wish everybody that knows me come along for the one journey, come out for one show, see how it is, and see what kind of charity we do, because there's a lot of people. Like in Indiana, I've already been asked for the Teddy Bear Fund Drive. The FOP got a hold of me, but they had to go to the board because the FOP can't do big country stars anymore. So if they could do that. Oh, Brian Lamort just popped in. Morty, I want to wish you all the best in Florida, my brother. I love you dearly. He's moving to Florida as of tomorrow. And yeah, he's moving. So yeah. But you know what? Morty's a game player, man. Morty can fucking turn shit into gold, man. I've seen it happen numerous times, and I love him dearly. So, Morty, I wish you all the best. He dropped off an autographed picture of Cordell Stewart and another Steeler picture in front of the house the other day. Hopefully, if you leave, if you leave after 3 o'clock, Morty, let me know. I'd love to, shake your hand and give you a hug and kiss you on the cheek. So, because I'm working till 3, but if you're coming through, let me know. Definitely. So, but everybody, thanks for listening to me rant. Listen to me.
Well,
But it's
Bubba,
gonna
if you're
be
giving
a
out free
story.
kisses, I'll be out there at 3:30.
Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. So everybody, please hit like and subscribe to the show, to the Triple B Experience. If you're a Steeler fans, I have a lot of Steeler fans on my Facebook, but I don't know where they're all coming from. I'm adding you as Steeler fans, but if you're not taking part of my Steeler shows and you're not taking part, I'm going to have to, clean my palate because I don't know, you know what I mean? If you're, oh, Mark from
Hey.
Steeler Nation. Thanks for tuning in, brother. And also, please subscribe to Mark's show. Mark does Steeler stuff every day. Every day, right here. Steelers Nation Australia. Friend of the show. And also, he loves the Steelers and hates the Cincinnati Bengals. But hey, everybody, we've been on for an hour and 40 minutes, talked a lot about wrestling, talked about what we're trying to do, and I appreciate it. It's Friday night. And Shane, thanks for popping on as always, brother. Special field correspondent. Please hit like and subscribe. Wait, I got 2 more comments. No, your show's fucking awesome. Your show's awesome, brother. You can't stand. That's right. I listen to your show daily, man. Every day he's got something. And I tell you what, Mark, we're gonna draft some people. We're gonna sign some people. It's a new year. I love your positive attitude. He's not negative at all. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch. You know what I mean? It's a new season now, so anything can happen. So everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'll see everybody Wednesday. If we're going to bring that guy on, or we're bringing him on,
I'm going to call him tomorrow.
Okay.
We're hoping to get the infamous we were talking about earlier.
Yes.
Brady Breeze
from the Houston Texans. And if we get him on, Shane's coming on, and we're going to do an interview. We're going to talk, shoot the shit, and he's going to tell us how it is to be going through a combine.
Yeah, well, he didn't get to go through the combine, but what he felt when he was drafted.
Sure,
we're going to talk about how what he eats. He eats real clean.
I bet he does. I bet he does.
He ran a 4.4, and he's over 200 pounds. So
wow, what position does he play?
Safety. He's a safety.
Shit. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If Shane can get him on, we're going to get him on as soon as we can. And he's going to be on the Black and Gold show. And if he comes on Friday, we can switch it around. It doesn't matter. So we'll go, we'll do what we can.
Ladies, he's easy on the eyes. So there you go.
He's a looker. He's a looker. Yep. Ladies, tune in. Okay, everybody. Thanks, Shane, once again. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. We are out of here, and I will see everybody Wednesday. Everybody have a great weekend, and don't drink and drive. If you do, call a taxi. Everybody, have a great night and a better tomorrow.